You are officially a hippopotamus. Congratulations. Your scientific name, Hippopotamus amphibius, comes from Greek and means amphibious river horse. What a poetic name, right? There are just two problems. You are not a horse, and your relationship with the river is more of a house arrest situation than a lifestyle. Your family history is such a mess that even scientists can't quite agree. For a long time, they thought you were related to pigs. Then DNA showed something bizarre. Your closest living relatives are whales and dolphins. That's right. You're the fat, weird cousin who stayed in the swamp while the rest of the family turned into mermaids. Your most likely ancestors are some creatures called anthracotheres, the coal beasts, because their fossils were found in coal mines. Poetic, right? They looked like skinny hippos with pig faces, living in swamps millions of years ago. But even that is debated. Your family tree has more holes than Swiss cheese. You are an orphan of evolution. Maybe that's why you're so angry, an eternal identity crisis. And where are you born? On dry land? In a cute little nest? Of course not. Your mother probably gives birth to you in the dirty water of the river or lake where you live. Welcome to the world. Have a sip of water with hippo poop. You're born quite big, about 40 kilograms, but you're still a walking target. Your mother is overprotective, which is good, but she's also a violently paranoid creature, like everyone in your species. She keeps you close, teaches you to swim, or rather, to walk on the river bottom and hold your breath. But danger is everywhere. Crocodiles would love to make a snack of you. Lions and hyenas wait for you to slip up on the riverbank. And of course, the biggest danger, other hippos. Remember that violent identity crisis? Well, an irritated male might crush you without even noticing while fighting another male. Your childhood is basically trying not to get trampled or devoured. You stay with your mother for a good while, nursing, even underwater, which is bizarre, and learning to be an aquatic sociopath. Eventually, you join the group, the school or bloat, which isn't a united family, but more like a condo association of grumpy individuals who tolerate each other. Your journey to adulthood is basically about surviving your own relatives and neighbors. Well, your most famous and disgusting characteristic is the blood sweat. Except guess what? It's not sweat, and it's not blood. It's an oily slime that your body produces because your skin is garbage. Seriously, your skin is super sensitive. It lacks the protective layer that most animals have. If you stay in the African sun too long, you literally cook, dehydrate, and get horrible sunburns. You are a battle tank with the skin of a newborn baby. Nature's genius solution wasn't to fix your skin. It was to give you glands that release this protective goo. It comes out clear, then turns red, hence the stupid name, and finally becomes a disgusting brown paste. This slime acts as sunscreen and antibiotic, which is useful since you spend the day marinating in your own and others' filth. But think about it. Your life depends on always being covered in a smelly, disgusting secretion. You don't bathe, you slather yourself in gunk. What a wonderful existence. And your sensitive skin isn't the only bizarre contradiction in your body. Let's talk about your mouth. That giant yawn of yours isn't about sleepiness. It's you showing off your weapons. It's your subtle way of saying, get lost or I'll split you in half. Your mouth opens to an absurd 150 degrees, revealing teeth that are a nightmare. Your lower canines are giant tusks that can reach up to 50 centimeters, and they are self-sharpening by grinding against your upper teeth. They are straight-up blades. And what do you use these deadly weapons for? Hunting? Of course not. You're a vegetarian. You use these tusks to fight other hippos in senseless violence. You have Rambo's weapons to argue over a spot in the pool. All this destructive power in your mouth contrasts with the rest of your body. Your torso is a 1.5-ton barrel of lard, supported by short, stubby legs that look like they were stolen from a couch. On land, you are the picture of clumsiness, a lumbering oaf. You can run fast in short bursts, but you look like an elephant trying to do ballet. In the water, you improve a bit, walking on the bottom with surprising grace for such a fat animal. To complete the look, your eyes, ears, and nostrils are all stacked on top of your head. This is so you can stay hidden in the water like a living, grumpy periscope. You are a walking paradox, baby's skin, monster's mouth, couch legs. And how do you communicate with others of your kind? With cute grunts? Subtle signals? Of course not. Your main form of conversation is a bizarre, deafening noise called wheezing honks. It's a sound that seems like a mix between a squeal and the roar of an old truck engine, and you don't do it quietly. A group of you chatting can reach 115 decibels. That's louder than a rock concert. This dreadful cry can travel over 1 kilometer. But what are you saying with all this noise? Hi friend, how are you? Not a chance. The wheeze honk is basically a war cry mixed with an ID card. It's your way of screaming, I'm Joe from this pond. This is my patch of mud, and if you're not from here, get lost. You live in groups called schools or bloats, but don't be fooled. It's not a tight-knit crew. It's more like a bunch of grumpy individuals who put up with each other, but hate everyone who isn't family. And how do we know this? Because someone had the brilliant idea to test your paranoia. Some crazy scientists decided to test the extent of your paranoia. They recorded your angry shouts and then played them back to you for 3 types. The voice of a bro from your own group, the voice of an annoying neighbor from the same river, and the voice of a complete stranger. Your reaction was hilarious and scary. If it was the voice of your bro, you barely cared. Like, oh, it's just Joe. If it was the neighbors, you pricked up your ears, a bit suspicious. Huh, what does that jerk want? But when they played the stranger's voice, my friend, all hell broke loose. You not only shouted back with even more rage, but you also charged towards the sound, ready for a fight. And to cap it all off, you delivered your signature move, the poop propeller. You defecate and spin your little tail at the same time, flinging dung everywhere like a disgusting fan. It's your super polite way of saying, piss off, loser. This proves you are intelligent enough to recognize everyone, and you use that intelligence for basically one thing, to hate anyone new to the area. Your brain is a xenophobia machine. Crazy, right? Okay. Scientists call you an ecosystem engineer. So fancy. It sounds like you build bridges or design gardens. But your engineering is much more direct. You are basically a conveyor belt of poop. It works like this. Every night, you leave the water and go grazing. You eat kilos and kilos of grass, sometimes walking kilometers to find decent pasture. Then, in the morning, you return to your private bathtub, the river or lake. And what do you do all day? Rest, fight with the neighbors, and well, you poop. A lot. This routine of eat on land, poop in water, moves an absurd amount of nutrients. You take fertilizer from the land, the grass, and dump it directly into the water in the form of poop. In rivers with thousands of hippos, we're talking about tons of manure being dumped every single day. It seems disgusting. Well, sometimes it's useful. When the river is full and flowing, your poop serves as fertilizer. But fertilizer for what? For algae, insects, fish. Your poop, in theory, feeds the river. How cute. You are the aquatic farmer. Except this engineering of yours has one small detail. It only works if there's flowing water. And in Africa, my friend, that's not always the case. When the dry season comes, the rivers dry up, turning into isolated puddles. And you're still there, eating and pooping in the same puddle, along with all your grumpy friends. What happens? That fertilizer of yours becomes poison. The excess poop rotting in the stagnant water consumes all the oxygen. All of it. The water turns into a stinky, toxic soup, full of ammonia and methane gas. It's basically an open sewer. The result? Aquatic apocalypse. All the fish die suffocated. The river becomes a graveyard. And who's to blame? You, the engineer. The same creature that fertilizes the river in the rainy season exterminates all life in it during the dry season. And the worst part is, you have no control over it. You can't stop eating or pooping. Your very existence is an ecological time bomb that explodes every year in your own backyard. You aren't an engineer. You are the involuntary agent of chaos. Okay, back in ancient Egypt, they understood you perfectly. So much so that they turned you into 2 completely opposite gods. First, the good side, Tauret, the goddess of childbirth and the protector of children. And what was this goddess like? A cutie? Of course not. She was a visual nightmare. She had the body of a pregnant hippo, the head of a crocodile, and the paws of a lion, a mix of the most dangerous animals they knew. But to them, this monstrosity signified ultimate protective power. Pregnant Egyptian women and mothers loved Tauret. Their homes were full of her amulets and little statues. Why? Because they saw real mother hippos defending their young with frightening fury and thought. That's it, the brute force of maternal love. You, in your female form, were the Wonder Woman of divine protection. How sweet. But there was the other side of the coin. The other side was Set, the god of chaos, violence, storms, and basically everything that went wrong in Egypt. And guess what was the primary animal incarnation of this devil? You, the male hippopotamus. Why? Because you males are exactly that, a chaotic, aggressive, unpredictable, and destructive force. The Egyptians saw you fighting, destroying crops near the river, and capsizing boats. Yes, you've been doing that since antiquity, and thought, it's said in the form of murderous blubber. This fame as a demon of chaos turned hippo hunting into something super important, almost a religious ritual. The pharaoh, the big boss of Egypt, would go out to hunt hippos not for sport, but to show he was defeating chaos, putting the house in order. Killing one of you was like punching evil in the face. There are drawings in temples showing the pharaoh harpooning you as if he were saving the world. So congratulations. You managed to be simultaneously the cute goddess of motherhood and the aquatic devil that needs to be exterminated. The Egyptians got you perfectly. You are the personification of contradiction. They either love you or hate you. There's no middle ground. And this bipolar reputation follows you to this day. If your life were an adventure movie, it would be the most boring one in history. Your daily journey is to float in the water all day, looking like a fat rock, and go out at night to eat grass. That's it. Your great adventure is deciding whether to eat the grass on the left or the grass on the right. What a thrill. But this routine of rock by day, lawnmower by night, hides a few curiosities that only worsen your reputation. First curiosity. You are officially the most dangerous animal in Africa to humans. Yes, you, the fat, clumsy vegetarian, kill more people per year than lions, leopards, buffalo, and rhinos combined. Why? Because you are the most territorial and paranoid bar owner in the world. If someone enters your bar, the river, uninvited, be it a human in a boat, a crocodile, or another hippo, your default reaction is to bite first and ask questions later. Your giant mouth becomes a hydraulic press that shreds everything. You aren't evil. You just have zero tolerance for unexpected visitors. Your other journey is the nocturnal one. You leave your stinky mud pool and go grazing. But don't think it's a peaceful stroll. You can walk kilometers in search of good grass, sometimes up to 10 kilometers in one night. You are basically a giant, tireless lawnmower. And here comes another curiosity that makes you even more dangerous. Despite looking like a couch with legs, you are fast, scarily fast on dry land. You can run at 30 kilometers per hour. That's faster than the average human. Imagine an obese battle tank chasing you at that speed. It's pure panic. But the biggest joke, the curiosity that summarizes your contradictory existence, is this: you, Hippopotamus amphibius, the amphibious river horse, who spends 16 hours a day in the water, cannot swim. That's right. You don't swim. You are too dense. You sink. What you do is walk, or do little hops on the river bottom, like an obese astronaut on the moon. You can hold your breath for about 5 minutes, long enough to stroll down there. But actual swimming? Forget it. You are an aquatic animal that would drown in open water. Your life is this: spending the day floating and walking on the bottom of a dirty river, going out at night to run like a madman after grass, terrorizing anyone who comes near, and being secretly terrible at what your name says you do. You are a walking collection of broken expectations. The years passed. You survived. You survived the brutal fights, the droughts that turned your home into toxic soup, and the humans who sometimes adored you, sometimes hunted you. You are an old hippo. And what does that mean? It means your primary tool, brute force, is failing. Your giant teeth, those blades you use to intimidate and fight, are worn down, broken. Maybe some are missing. That mouth that opened 150 degrees now creaks. Eating grass, your night job, becomes harder. Fighting, even worse. You're still big, but the power isn't what it used to be. If you were a dominant male, the boss of the mud patch, your days are numbered. Younger males in their prime are challenging you, and you know you can't handle it anymore. Every honk now sounds more like an asthmatic cough. Your reputation as Africa's most dangerous animal is becoming history. You are the old bar owner who can no longer throw out the troublemakers. Your sensitive skin, which was already a problem, is now a map of old scars and stubborn infections. That protective slime doesn't seem to do the trick anymore. Leaving the water to graze at night becomes a double torture. The effort of dragging your old carcass out of the mud and the constant fear of not being able to get back. You are pushed to the worst parts of the river, the shallower, dirtier places with less food nearby. The young ones expel you from the best spots. Your life, which was about dominating a patch of mud, is now about trying to survive on the scraps on the edges. And the dry season, which before was just a smelly inconvenience, is now an almost certain death sentence. You no longer have the strength to walk kilometers in search of another, less poop-filled waterhole. You get stuck, slowly wasting away in your own filth, waiting for the rain that might never come in time. Your body, which was a fortress of fat and fury, is abandoning you. You are a rusty battle tank, too heavy to move properly, with broken weapons, stuck in a swamp you helped pollute yourself. The only thing left is to wait for the final blow. And this time, the rain didn't come. The puddle where you were trapped has become a stinky, shallow mud pit. You can barely cover your sensitive, cracked skin. Hunger consumes you from the inside. Thirst drives you mad. You are a mountain of flesh and bones stuck in your own dried-up toilet. You no longer have the strength to even let out your pathetic wheeze honk. The stronger hippos left long ago, looking for water elsewhere. You were left behind, the old one who couldn't keep up. Your only company are the flies buzzing around your open wounds and perhaps a patient vulture circling high above, waiting for dessert. You are too weak to care. You close your eyes, waiting for the end. Maybe it's a heart attack from exhaustion, maybe dehydration, or maybe, just maybe, something much more idiotic. And the end arrives. But it's not hunger, nor thirst, nor the vulture. It's the mud. In a last spasm of despair, perhaps trying to reach an imaginary puddle of water. You try to move, but your 1.5-ton body is too weak. You sink a little deeper into the sticky mud. Your snout, that natural periscope that allowed you to breathe while hidden in water, can now barely stay above the surface of the gunk. Then, the final effort. You try to lift your head, and you can't. Your old muscles fail. Your giant head is too heavy, and your snout sinks into the mud. Yes, you. Hippopotamus amphibius, the river horse. The most feared aquatic monster in Africa, dies drowned in a mud puddle 30 centimeters deep. Because you got too old and weak to lift your own head. It's the most anticlimactic and ironic end possible. Your giant body lies there, half buried in the dry mud, perhaps with your rear end in the air, like a monument to your contradictory existence. What an ungrateful little life you've had, ending up drowned in your own dried-up filth.